Don't you get most of your news now from social media?
Yeah, I don't watch any traditional news.
The great thing about Parler is that when you do go and share something on the Parler platform now, we don't have an algorithm that's sitting there trying to moderate or be the arbiter of truth that's saying, oh, this is deemed misinformation.
Right.
We're not trying to suppress news stories. We let people go out there and put their opinions, put their stories, and then we leave it up to the user.
Tired of feeling like your voice is being drowned out on social media? It's time to experience the new Parler, where your voice is heard, your opinions matter, and your freedom to speak is respected. Parler is back and it's better than ever. Reimagined to give you the ultimate control over your content, no confusing algorithms, deciding what you see, no hidden agendas, just real, authentic conversations. Share your thoughts, connect with like-minded people, and be part of a community where your free speech truly thrives. At Parler, your privacy is always a priority. Your data belongs to you. We're here to empower users, not control them. Whether you're engaging in discussions, sharing news, or just staying connected, Parler is the platform where you are in charge. Ready to take back control? Download the Parler app today on iOS or Android and join the movement. It's your voice, your platform. Let it be heard. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store today. Download Parler now, where you have the power. All right, guys, we're here in Dallas. Shout out to Lovesack for the Love Sacks, and I'm here with Amy Robbins.
Great to be here.
And we're out here in Dallas for Tucker Carlson's tour, which you guys are sponsoring, right?
Yep.
I love it. Thanks for coming on. And how'd you get involved with the tour?
Oh, Parler
Yeah.
in general. So, this is the first time that Tucker's ever done this before. So this was a really neat and unusual opportunity. And of course, when we heard that he was going to be doing this, we jumped at saying, like, we want to be a part, we want to support Tucker. Tucker was actually a really big personality on Parler 1.0's platform. He is obviously a big advocate for freedom of speech and freedom of expression, which is exactly what the fundamentals of our platform are there for. And so when he decided to do this tour, we said, we got to be a part of it. So we've had a great partnership with Tucker Carlson Network and wanted to continue it with this live tour.
Incredible. And it looks like every tour's been sold out, every single city.
It has been such an incredible experience, Sean. I really didn't know what to expect. I don't think anybody did, because no one's really done this before. What I've loved about it, though, is Tucker shows up. Okay, this is like a little tea I'm going to spill here for you guys. This is how impressive Tucker is. He shows up to a different city almost every night. I mean, they're doing like 3 to 4. Some of these back-to-back shows, they're going all over the country, right? Every single location that he shows up at has a different speech that is tailored for that city or that state, what's going on in that state. And he does not have a teleprompter.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever just tried to show up, but I mean, you talk for a living too. We probably could get some things out, but I don't know if my stories would be coherent. I don't know if I'd be funny. He is funny, he is coherent, he is deep, and all of it is completely uncensored. And I think that is what is so missing in society today, is having the ability to have these completely uncensored conversations with people. And like Tucker said, when we're doing this live, the media can't censor us. So he has been having incredible guests from all different backgrounds, all different industries, coming on and talk about their perspective about what's going on. A lot of people have been canceled. A lot of people that are showing, a lot of these guests that are showing up have in some way been censored or canceled by the media.
Right.
They're sharing their stories. Because if you think about it, if someone gets canceled on social media, well, the world doesn't really get to hear their story, but you can't stop that when you have tens of thousands of people sitting in an arena hearing your story, and then they go out and spread the word. And it's from that standpoint, it's just been a really incredible experience. I've been so inspired by it, and I'm just really glad that Parler's been a part of it.
I love it. Yeah, I'm super excited tonight. Yeah,
Right.
I was listening to Dan Beningo's interview. I couldn't believe how canceled he was.
Insane, right?
Insane.
But everybody. So James tonight actually just popped up on the schedule. He has not been on the schedule this entire time. They've been doing kind of these one-off surprise guests at some of these shows. RFK Jr. was the first one to show up, and man, talk about somebody whose message and impact has really been suppressed by the media. They didn't want to share a lot that was going on about his campaign policies, about where he stood on issues, and they really tried to suppress him. And he's taken taking those gloves off. He's saying, look, I'm going to stand up now and I'm going to kind of expose what happened to me. And a lot of people are waking up to it, and people are pissed off. People are getting tired of this.
Absolutely.
And I think that is one thing that they're wanting to come together in venues and events like this to meet other people that this has either happened to or to be inspired by really big names that have been censored and then have been able to.
Don't let allergies keep you up at night. Sambrosa Night Syrup is your more homeopathic solution for a restful night. Blending the sweetness of a honey base with 7 organic herbs and a small dose of antihistamine, Sambrosa provides effective relief from allergy symptoms while calming your body for a peaceful night's rest. It's over-the-counter, gentle, and made from the ingredients you trust. Wake up refreshed with Sambrosa Night Syrup. Visit Sambrosa.com today and rest easy tonight.
To rise from the ashes from that.
Yep, it's been inspirational. RFK is the first politician I've seen go after Big Pharma too.
Oh yeah, I mean, when he laid out what his plans were, initially I'm like, there's no way they're getting this. You're talking about taking on some of the biggest corporations in the world, and he is single-handedly wanting to expose them and take them down. Like, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to be experiencing some of that censorship throughout his entire campaign process, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he's so brave. I've had 2 guests go up against Big Pharma. They mysteriously died within the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, tough opponent.
Well, it is. I mean, and the fact that we're at a place in America, I never thought that we would be in this place where we are starting to feel like our political opponents are, like, their lives are in jeopardy. I really did not think that we would ever be in this place. And here we are with a president that's had not 1, but 2 assassination attempts on his life. I just hope that all the candidates, no matter what their political affiliation, their party, hope they stay safe between now and election day, and really even beyond that too.
For real. It seemed like they were trying to hide the second one.
Like, crazy.
Like, we had to find out on Twitter about it.
Yeah.
Like, none of the news stations were
none of the
covering
mainstream news stations. I mean, the crazy thing, and you're probably like this, I mean, don't you get most of your news now from social media?
Yeah, I don't watch any traditional news.
Right. I mean, so for us, I think any of us that are paying attention what's going on politically, most of us are doing so because we're on social media platforms. We have places now like Parler where we can go and actually share information, share about firsthand experiences, share information that you're finding. The great thing about Parler is that when you do go and share something on the Parler platform now, we don't have an algorithm that's sitting there trying to moderate or be the arbiter of truth that's saying, oh, this is deemed misinformation.
Right.
We're not trying to suppress news stories. We let people go out there and put their opinions, put their stories, and then we leave it up to the user, to the people in the community to decide what they want to believe and what they want to listen to and how they want to respond to whatever it is they're reading. But what we're finding on other platforms, especially like on Facebook and Meta, is that when stories like this start to get out there, they do their best to suppress that. And luckily, there's a lot of conservative influencers, or really not even just conservative, people even that aren't aligning with a political party necessarily, still want to see free speech move forward. Still want to see free speech reign supreme. And so you're starting to see more and more people have the people that they want to gravitate towards. They know that they can get solid information from, and then they help spread that word. And that's what you have to do. You've got to help each other out to get the word out to people.
Yeah, censorship's no joke. I just saw Google was the biggest financer for the Democrats this election. And they were censoring the assassination attempts and who knows what else on YouTube. So
it's really interesting because what happened to Parler 1.0, like the first iteration of this, there were no quote unquote free speech platforms. All right, people had been circulating this information that they were getting shadow banned. They were noticing that their followers were going down. They were noticing that their messages just weren't reaching the people that they were wanting it to reach, right? And they would raise the alarm, and people would just kind of shrug it off and say, nah, that's not really happening, Everyone's eyes got opened, though, to censorship that was happening during that time once Donald Trump got kicked off of X, or Twitter at that point, right? So there really was no alternative place for you to go and get information that you wanted to find out about. It was all being suppressed. So insert Parler. Parler was there since 2018, but they really were filling a need at that point in about 2020 when the president gets kicked off. A lot of influencers were getting either deplatformed, demonetized on other platforms. They were just looking for a place to go where their particular beliefs were not getting suppressed. And by and large, a lot of that, of course, was geared toward conservative voices. But a lot of people during the pandemic were really starting to see that their voice, even if they had never come out to say anything about political affiliation, but they wanted to speak out against mandated vaccines or alternative health information on how to fight the COVID, not just the vaccines, it's just COVID in general, but they you were seeing it everywhere. They would label your information misinformation.
Oh, yeah.
And so people were getting really tired of that, and they were trying to find alternative ways to find the truth. And so that is why Parler grew so fast. It grew so big, so fast, seemingly overnight. Obviously, the catalyst was Donald Trump getting kicked off of Twitter.
Yeah.
But more people were flocking to that site, not just because they were Trump supporters, but because they were free speech supporters.
Yeah. Candace Owens just got demonetized. You guys need to hit her up.
Well, we have a lot of really neat things that are coming out with this 3.0 version of Parler, is what I like to call it. So Parler 1.0, if you remember the story, what happened to them is after January 6th, they actually got kicked out of their cloud server shut down. Mm-hmm. So they were on a separate, like not independent cloud.
Was it AWS?
Yeah, it was on AWS. So AWS kicks them off the cloud server, and then Google and Apple used their ever-changing community guidelines to say, well, you're allowing things on this platform that don't line up with our community guidelines, and they took them out of the App Store. So overnight, they went from having tens of millions of users to nothing overnight. And there was nothing anybody could do about it because they weren't built on, they weren't they were a social media company, they weren't a tech company. Right. So they did not have the tech infrastructure to actually support getting back online very quickly. I remember the day I had like a really quick influx of followers that I was trying to move off of Instagram, just me personally, and overnight, nobody could log in.
Wow.
You just continue to see that little like loading button, and no one actually knew what was going on. And then the reports started coming out, like what was happening, and we're like, you've got to be kidding me. Now we all got to go back to the platforms that we say we can't stand, that we say, you know, are censoring us or shadow banning us or just flat out canceling our accounts. I know that's happened to so many people. And so there you have Parler that has basically been burned to the ground, not doing anything with it, but other people got smart and they said there's a market for this. So you had companies like Rumble, Getter, Truth Social that were popping up, all under the name of free speech. That I like to say that Parler was the first one over the hill that took all the hits, which is normally how that happens when you're a pioneer. And then you've got Elon that comes in and buys Twitter, turns it into X, and turns it into a completely like moderation-free, censorship-free, free speech platform, right? And they started to really take off. And then you started to see how many hits they were all, like how big this problem actually was. When you're seeing even X now just constantly in the media, of people wanting to cancel them, ban them in their countries. They were just banned in Brazil. The UK was threatening to ban them if he didn't censor or take down the conversation between him and Donald Trump. And of course, in Elon fashion, he basically told them, no way, you know, in Elon terms. And so you're seeing that there are people that want this. And it's not just on a platform like a public forum, like an X or like the current iteration of what Parler is. So Parler, just to get back to that story really quick, got a new ownership after the 1.0 version. Same thing happened though. They weren't a tech company. They didn't really understand what to do with the social media company. So then they sold it to a marketing group, and then it just kind of died again. And it just kind of sat there dormant, not doing anything until our group came along. And we had some really amazing people with a great big vision for how do we continue to preserve this idea of freedom of expression and freedom of speech. How do we do that with not just a public forum? So Parler itself as a social media platform operates very similarly to what you're going to find on X. It's that place to go have that open discussion, that open dialogue. And then from there, though, we were noticing, okay, well, YouTube's kind of doing the exact same thing. There are people that are getting deplatformed off of YouTube. So my background before getting into Parler was actually in the 2A space, like the Second Amendment space. There is no other group of people that have been censored more than people that are Second Amendment advocates, and they can't even monetize their channels. And so people, the bad thing is that then you find yourself in a cycle where you've already built millions of followers, so you're kind of a slave to the system.
Right.
And there's not another better alternative out there for you to get your message across. And so the guys that bought Parler had a much bigger vision than just re-releasing Parler. Obviously, we wanted to continue this amazing trend of freedom fighters that are standing up for free speech and have a place for that. But the ultimate goal is to have a competitor to every single one of these other platforms that are doing this. So we're actually in the process right now of, in the next few weeks, you're gonna see not only a completely new facelift on the Parler app itself. I highly encourage everyone to go ahead and go and download this right now because of the exciting things that we have coming out. But you're gonna find a whole new look and feel to it here in just a couple of weeks.
I love it.
We're also going to be launching our alternative to YouTube. It's called Play TV. That is where we are strongly encouraging content creators to go over there, not just because you're gonna have the freedom on this platform to express yourself, put your views out there, have freedom of speech on this platform, but we have a really amazing monetization opportunity for all of our content creators that we are so excited to roll out. And so we're also gonna be launching our Burst app, which is gonna be short form videos, which everyone loves. Everyone loves the video format of content, and we know that. The difference is, however, all of our apps that we are doing, from our Parler Pay, from our wallet, to our video formats, to the social media, is all going to be integrated. If you have an account on one, all of them will be integrated into one location. So no longer are you having to leave multiple apps and go upload your video content. And with the reward system that we're going to be integrating into this, everything you do from the creator and now the users themselves will start getting rewarded for their positive participation on the platform. And that's really what we wanted to do. If you look at what's happening right now with social media, the negativity, you see it in young people, like the incidence of cyberbullying, human trafficking, like the dangerous things, the dark things that are taking place in social media platforms. We want to change that. And we know the only way to change that is to change human behavior. And so we want to incentivize people with our reward system to actually participate positively in a positive manner on across all of our Parler applications.
That's awesome. I just got the app, so I can't wait to
play
around with it.
Well, like I said, you're going to get the classic version right now, and then here in a couple of weeks, it's going to be the super version.
There we go.
I'd say it's going to be the Lamborghini version.
Hey, let's go. Did you see the new Telegram updates this week?
I did, yep.
How did you feel about that?
I think that it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's gone on with Telegram. There's a lot of interesting things that have gone on. And I kind of want to make this point. What happened with Telegram, while I do think there were components that, from a free speech standpoint, people are looking for decentralized platforms to get on that they can feel safe that somebody is not watching them.
Yeah.
And in essence, that is a great idea, right? But we also know that ushers in really dark things as well. So how do you find that fine line and that balance between having true freedom of speech and then some sort of moderation? And while they were they did allow complete free speech on there, they were not moderating, cooperating with any government when the illegal activity was taking place on their applications.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this or how closely you follow this, but when a lot of people in the name of free speech are starting to do some things that are really detrimental to, I believe, not just themselves, but society as a whole. And so what Parler is doing is we are taking a stand against two things. We are going to be the first free speech but free app on the market, because our partners are dedicated to not only helping to thwart human trafficking, but stopping it.
Yeah.
And we know that there's millions of child images that are floating around. I wanted to jump in with Parler so much because my mission is helping women and children stay safe. And so that has now translated to online safety. And I had no idea how bad the problem was, because it's something that people don't talk about. And so we are dedicated to keeping that off of our platform, because again, we want a positive experience. I am keeping my kids away from social media, but if I have a place that is truly safe for them to go, and I'm not scared of them to see hard conversations. I am not, because I'm going to train them on how to have tough conversations, on how to share their opinions and not care if other people share their opinions as well. But to not be able to monitor what they're seeing at really young ages and where that goes, or being victims of hate speech or hate threats or anything like that. And that's another thing that we are not allowing on there, is we are not allowing hate speech against groups. Outside of that, you have free expression. And we're very transparent in our community guidelines about what we are going to stand for and what we are not going to stand for. And we really have high hopes that we will be able to kind of start changing this societal behavior on how they participate in social media.
Yeah. As soon as I log into X, there's nudes and
everywhere, like all over the place, all over the place. And again, they do that in the name of free speech, and that's fine. Like, they can do whatever they want to. I am for private companies being able to make the decision for what their community guidelines are going to be. What I am not for is government using backdoor tactics to come in and push companies like Meta, which Mark Zuckerberg just came out and said, oh yeah, that was happening. Yeah. The government actually did want us to suppress stories on the Hunter Biden laptop, on COVID, on vaccine mandates, or anti-vax people. Absolutely. So he came out and admitted that. So I'm not okay with the government coming in and mandating moderation or censorship, because amazingly enough, when one group is the one that is the group that gets to define what misinformation is, right? They're the ones that have all the power. And so I am okay with private companies, though, deciding what they want their community guidelines to be, but I want them to be extremely transparent about that. So users know going in and signing up, okay, man, I can't use this as my secondary OnlyFans account. I can't use this as a way to get on the black market and human traffic children. You just need to know that straight up. Like, when you go to Parler, like, that is not happening on our platform. Go find another platform. There's plenty of them out there that will allow you to do that. But that's not going to happen on our platform. And I'm proud to stand with a company that stands up for that, believes in that, and is going to do something to actually make a difference to keep our children safe.
Boom. So no social media for your kids. I also saw you say no video games for your kids.
So that's a tough one, because I just had a resurgence of my 1987 Nintendo box that we found, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a gateway into like bigger games. And because I think there's an aspect of certain video games, I think you just have to be an in-tune parent. Yeah. You have to be in tune with what's going on. What a lot of parents don't, am I fine with him playing Super Mario Brothers from the 1980s? Sure. But what I don't want him doing is getting on these, the cube game.
Oh, Minecraft or Roblox?
Roblox. Yeah. Or like the Fortnite stuff, like where you are interacting with people that you have absolutely no idea who they are. There are no standards on there that is making sure that your child is interacting with someone that's age appropriate, or that they're not having inappropriate conversations. You literally cannot monitor the conversations that your kids are hearing, and they're playing these games sometimes 10, 12 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Like, that will not be happening. And I think that parents have to take a more proactive approach, because there are stories coming out all the time right now that people use those video games to groom children. And predators are going to find a way to be a predator any place that they can. Yeah. The FBI just recently released a report that said there's over 500,000 predators online every single day looking for their next victim. Wow. For human trafficking. And yeah, that's scary. That's scary. Mm. And so if there's no built-in way to actually monitor that, and the parents have no idea that it's happening, your kid could be having conversations with a 50-year-old man who has befriended this lonely kid who's sitting in his room all day long playing video games, and who knows where that can lead. Easily.
Yeah, I play Fortnite, and I've joined random parties where there's like a 5-year-old on the mic.
Yeah. And I'm sure like people aren't self-censoring their conversations with these 5-year-old children, and
they're cursing. They're just
guarantee the parent has no idea that that is happening.
Probably not. Mm-hmm. Some might, but yeah, it's really accessible. Like it's not hard to just join a lobby and have a kid on the mic.
Yep.
So why would you want to put your kid in that situation?
Yeah, well, I honestly think it's just lack of knowledge for a lot of these parents. They think, oh, that's fun. That's a fun little video game. And they just let their children do it. But if they're not as in tune, if they're not following closely what is happening, and again, a lot of this stuff, if the way that big tech is set up right now with their algorithms is to constantly feed you information that is going to keep you addicted to their app, mm-hmm. right? So if there's information that is outside of that bubble, you may not be seeing it. You may not be shown that. And so therefore, and that's one really great thing with Parler, is that we don't have this built-in algorithm where we are telling you what you need to hear and what we think you want to hear. It is getting back to that classic idea of social media where it's like, post your thoughts. The people that you follow, you're going to see them. If you want to go to the global feed, you can see everybody's thoughts. But you will see every single person that you follow. And I think people are looking for that.
Yeah.
We've kind of been conditioned over the last several years and didn't even really know that we were being manipulated by big tech to think a certain way or to feel a certain way. But I think people are waking up to that idea and they're looking for an alternative platform. And that's why I encourage people to get back onto Parler. If you have an account, here's the really cool thing. You can re-download it. If you remember your email that you used initially to sign up for it, you can get in touch with our support team. We have real people that you can talk to. I don't know if you've ever had an issue with any of your other social media platforms and you couldn't get in touch with anybody.
Instagram, you can't get in touch with anyone.
Can't get in touch with anybody. There are real people that answer your questions at Parler. So I encourage everybody to re-download the app or go and download it for the first time. Check it out. Remember that it's going to get a beautiful facelift here in just a couple of weeks.
I love it. I'm excited. When did you guys get back in the store, the app store?
So December is when the company got purchased, and February. So we have made huge strides in the last several months. And here's the important thing to understand. So I said the other companies weren't tech companies. Our group is a tech group. So they actually said, well, what happened to Parler was because they were not an autonomous company. They were on a centralized platform. We need to get this decentralized. We need to own our private cloud as well. And so we own the entire tech stack to Parler, which means that we can update, we can add, we can change things, and you do not have big tech looking over your shoulder every single second, collecting all of your data and making you, the user, the product.
Right.
Because I don't know if people know this or not, but there's about 25,000 data points per person every time you log on to Facebook, and guess who's making billions of dollars off of your data?
Facebook.
Facebook. Parler does not do that. So we are not tracking your data. Anything outside of the app, we're not even tracking your likes or anything like that. We only collect the most basic data from you. It's private, it's secure, and it's held on our own cloud, so nobody can shut us down. We even have a web version of it. So if anything were to ever get taken out of the App Store, you still have your web version that you can use. So customers and consumers can be very, very confident that they can create their account, they can start engaging, and they don't have to worry about it ever getting taken down, which isn't the case on some of these other free speech platforms. Every single day, it seems like there's a new country, a new government that is coming after X and wanting to remove them from their country. Rumble just got removed from Brazil as well. Yeah, and we have a great presence in Brazil. So, if you're in Brazil, re-download Parler because you can't get back on X and Rumble right now.
Brazil might go after Parler next.
Luckily, X is a really big target on their back right now. And but it is important to stand in solidarity. But it is important for people to understand. I think now people hand over their data and they have no idea the repercussions of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
What's being fed to them every single second of the day as a result of manipulation of that data. And so we aren't going to do that. What I was saying earlier with this reward system, if you want to opt in to actually having an advertiser give you an advertisement, you can get rewarded for that. So you get paid to give them your data. And so that is the whole new paradigm shift that we are wanting to do with Parler, is that the user becomes the beneficiary. They're no longer the product.
Yeah.
And that is setting us apart from every single other platform that's out there right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, realize how important your data is, guys. Did you see what happened with 23andMe last week?
Okay, I was on the plane and I saw that the whole board has now resigned, but I didn't actually get to dig into the article of what happened.
I don't know why, but that's kind of weird, right?
It is kind of weird. It shows you that something's going on. I like to wait until all my facts come out and actually read what's going on before I make opinions on that kind of stuff. So I don't know what's going on, but I did see that the entire original board for 23andMe.
And they have all our health data, so who
knows
who they sold that
knows?
to.
It'll come out. Something's going to be coming out on it very soon.
And BlackRock owns that company, so.
As in most of the companies in the world now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's next, Amy, and where can people download the app and everything?
Yeah, you can actually go to parler.com and you have the option to download it on Google or the Apple Store, or you can go straight, if you have an iOS and you want to just download it from the App Store, you can download it there as well. You're going to be able to download Play TV as well here in the next week or so, which is our video format competitor to YouTube. You'll be able to download the Burst app as well. But I would highly encourage you to go to parler.com parler.com, sign up for our newsletter, because that is where we're releasing all of the exciting things that are coming down the road. And you're going to be one of the first to understand how our reward system works, how to get that wallet set up within your app, and then go from there. So yeah, definitely check that out. And thank you so much for having me on today.
Yeah, that was a blast. I'll see you tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to have a great time.
Yes, sir. Thanks for watching, guys, as always. See you next time.